Interesting video. Let's take a look at our history. What's real? What is our history? If you want to look at our history and what type of people existed in the past, surely you would have to look at the buildings that exist from the past. So this is in West Street, Durban, and look at how majestic this building is. Now you might say, Keenan, this is just a normal building, what's so interesting about it? The interesting part is this: we are not able to build it today. It's too advanced for our humanity. It's way too advanced for us to build. The intricate detail, the stone cutting, it's just not possible to build today. Nor was it possible to build in the 1800s. But the internet tells you that these buildings, and you'll find these buildings all across the world, and the internet tells you that these buildings were made in 2 or 1 year or 3 years. Look at this advanced technology. So my point is this: these buildings here that we have, they were definitely found. They were not built by us. They were built by a much more advanced humanity. See these towers? These towers, the purpose of this column over here is to draw electricity from the air. That's the purpose of this column. And then you have a battery, and then you have another column here that draws electricity from the atmosphere. And that's what these antennas are for. Exactly like what you see here. And Nikola Tesla knew. He knew about the old world. He knew about the technology. He knew that electricity was free. And these old world buildings, you can clearly see that these people knew about free energy by the buildings that they built. And they were way more advanced. Look at, so this is West Street in 1903. Do you really think these people over here built this building over here and this building over here? Absolutely not. And you're crazy if you think so. We can't even build these buildings today. There's no way in hell these people built it with horseback and buggy. Again, these railways, they were all electric. So somewhere in between the transition from the old world, so whoever's controlling this reset, whoever is hiding the old world from us, they're hiding all the technology from us as well. And they give us some technology. So look, they had electric trains in the past. Look at these lines. These are all electric. But then they took it away. Why? Because if we know about free energy, electric energy, then the oil industry or the petrol industry dies. And there's money behind petrol and oil. So we had technology, but they take it away. The old civilization had free energy. Look, this tower here, its purpose was to generate or gather energy from the atmosphere. For example, look here, if you think I'm lying, this is called a cathode, right? A hot cathode emits electrons which travel outward. So electrons from a hot filament would travel radially to the outside ring if it were not for the magnetic field. The magnetic force deflects them in the sense shown that they tend to sweep around the circle. In doing so, they pump the natural resonant frequency of the cavities. The currents around the resonant cavities cause them to radiate electromagnetic energy at that resonant frequency. Now look at the shape here of the cathode. Boom, we see it here. Exact same thing. See, these people in the old world were way more advanced than you think. Their buildings were antiquitic. Their buildings were technology. These are machines. This is a cathode. This generates energy. Just like explained here. And look at the shape of it. Look at the shape over here. It's the exact same shape here that you see in these cathedrals. All of these old world buildings, we don't know who built them. We don't know what they are. And they are impossible to build today. And this This got my interest when I started looking at my own city. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to go look up pictures of your town hall. And you will see that the building built, the civilization that built this, is not the civilization that exists today. And the people that built this had technology that no more exists today. Look at this. Look at this building. It's like majestic on the side, and then you have our buildings that we built, so plain and ugly. Yet the old building is majestic and technological and complicated and harder to build. This is harder to build than this, yet this was built after this. And this is it's got people asking questions. It's got people looking at these old world buildings throughout the whole world, and people are starting to question and say, hold up, you're telling me that these buildings were all created in a year and most of them were destroyed. Most of these buildings that you see here no more exist today. They were destroyed. Why is it? You almost see most of these buildings here that were all destroyed. Look at these. These were all domes with antennas designed to get electricity from the ether in the atmosphere. Just like this. And then again, Tesla knew about this. That's why they killed him. But who knows if Tesla was even real? Again, cathode. And the same cathode is found here. A magnetron cathode. This creates frequency. These buildings were generated or made to generate frequency and electromagnetic electricity. So the old civilizations were definitely in tune with this sort of frequency technology. And look at this. This is just a huge battery. You see building, but an electrician just sees a huge battery. If Tesla was looking at this, he would see a huge battery used to store energy. Look at the columns of this. You know how hard it is to build? Look at how tiny our human species is compared to this. And look, it almost seems like this building goes into the ground. Because if you had to look underneath the ground, this building still carries on. Because this building was here for thousands of years, and over the years dirt and mud build up and up and up, and this building carries on even below the surface, believe it or not. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. Again, look at this old world civilization, old world technology, old world building does not exist today. We cannot build this today. We will never know the people that built this and how life was for the people that built this. Clearly it was majestic. Clearly it was better. If they had time to make it so beautiful. We just don't know. We really don't know. You see, this is the theory. We got it right. The theory is that we eventually got it right. We found a perfect government, a perfect system to live, a perfect energy technology. We had everything right, and because people could be independent, I believe, in this old world, and people were more knowledgeable, I believe that's why this civilization was wiped out. And these people that built these buildings no more exist because they were too advanced. Either that, or they still exist and they just no more exist around us, and they found more land and they all just moved. But the people that built this are definitely not the people you see walking around here on the streets. The people that built this were way more advanced. And this is, well, where I'd just like to spark your interest. What do you think about this? Look at these buildings. Now I was watching, you should watch this guy's channel. It's called My Lunch Break. It's called Is AI, the title of his video is something to do with AI telling us the truth. And what this guy did was he took a building like this, like a 60,000 square foot building, and he typed it in ChatGPT and he asked the AI system how long would it take, and he described a building like this to make something like this. And in ChatGPT it clearly said about 15 to 17 years to make something like this. But if you look up these old world buildings, it's all, every single time it said was built in like 5 years or 1 year or 2 years, and it just does not make sense. Look at Chicago in 1893. This is Chicago, Illinois. Look at this. The people that built this don't exist today. And we see that the people that existed in the old world were global. Look at this. The title of this video is called Old World America. Look at these buildings. This is Buffalo, New York, 1901. These people found, the people that are here took pictures of these old world buildings. Thank goodness we have these pictures. This no more exists today. This is all demolished. Why did they demolish this? Because they don't want you to know the truth. See, the civilization that existed when these buildings were built, they were a free society, free energy, way more advanced, a society that wasn't at war with each other. And because of that, that's why they were wiped out. You see, we hear stories of Atlantis, this beautiful city. Do I think Atlantis existed? Of course. You see, history's, it's a lot more stranger than you think, guys, and a lot is not being told to us about our history. Simply just by looking at these buildings, you can ask a plethora amounts of questions. Who are these? Why are they lying to us about how this was actually built and the time it took to build it? They said that this town hall was built in 2 to 3 years. That's impossible. With this antiquity, this is all technology. You cannot build this in 2 to 3 years. That's impossible. Look at this. Old world building. Advanced technology on a building. The whole building is a machine. It's not just a shell. It's a machine that could generate energy. And I would argue that back in the old world, if you look at Durban, so these are the old pictures of Durban, right? West Street. So look, these two buildings were not built by these people, okay? These two buildings were found. So these people arrived here and they found these buildings here already, okay? Look at these buildings. All of these were found. Look at here, these railways are electric. Technology passed down from the old world. Back in the early 19 and 1800s, electricity was still free. And Nikola Tesla was at the forefront of those discoveries. He discovered what the old world already knew. And the powers that be destroyed all these buildings, and they're making sure that we don't get to this height of technology again, because if we do, we'd be a much more free society. We'd have a lot more say as a people. But as long as we remain ignorant, as long as we're dumb, they have more power. So what we can take from this is that we definitely were way more advanced before in the past, and because of this wonderful society that existed, it was definitely a wonderful free energy type of society that existed. And because it existed, and because everything was so free, there was less profit. And you know, the devil just wants to profit off everything. And I think that's why the civilization was wiped out. Maybe the civilization was so advanced that they started turning away from Jesus and they were wiped out. And its technology was wiped out along with it. And these pictures you see are pictures of the new humanity. Us arriving here, taking pictures of these buildings that were already here. And we'll never know truly the people that designed and built these buildings. We'll never know how amazing they were. All we can do is marvel at their buildings. And these buildings are like a glance into the past. The workshop, look at this. This was just a huge battery or train station, just batteries. You see, in order to understand the old world, you have to understand electricity and batteries on a larger scale. Else you'll never understand how the old world functioned, or how they thought, or how they built. Everything they built was to do with electricity and frequency. Old world, advanced technology. Look, this is in Pietermaritzburg. Pietermaritzburg I'll actually save for another video, but this is outside of Durban. This is the city center, Pietermaritzburg. Look at this. Amazing. You cannot build this today. It is impossible to build. There's not a construction company on earth that can build this today. It is impossible. And these buildings are found worldwide. You see this everywhere in your city, no matter where you are on the globe. Look at these towers. These are antennas designed to get electricity from the air. This is pavilion. So this is what I wanted to show you. The pavilion. Okay, look at this, guys. Okay, so we did not build this. If I had to look up this, the pavilion, right? Now, ignore the parking lots, all right? Ignore all that. That was built by us. See these parking lots and stuff? This is all built by us. I want to draw your attention to this. You see this? This was not built by us. All these columns, this is all to do with electricity. This was a power station before in the past. All these things, its purpose was to generate electricity. This is an old world building. Around it they built parking lots and they turned it into a shopping mall, but this is advanced technology. This is the pavilion found in Westville, Durban, South Africa. If you look at old world maps of South Africa, you'll find that on the old world maps of Africa, there were these huge buildings that existed, but you don't see them here today. Very interesting. There's a lot they're not telling us about our past. There's a lot they're not telling us.